I am sitting down with NC State head coach Braden Holloway, recently crowned ACC champions on the men's side. This is embarrassing. Did your women get second?
No, we were third.
Third? Okay.
We had a good battle with Louisville. We went back and forth a little bit. I felt like we need to get a bigger lead because they had some really good events going into the last day, especially like the women's 100 free. And we just didn't quite do enough, and they came back pretty good. So it was a good battle, but we got third.
First off, just heading into these ACC championships, what were your goals as a team, as a men's team, as a women's team, as a combined? How do you go about telling your athletes, all right, this is our purpose for this ACC championships?
Yeah, I mean, our teams were different this year, a little bit different story for each team this year. Our men, our depth is still pretty good. The hard part was trying to figure out what guys were going to go. The women, it wasn't quite as hard. We graduated a really good class last year for our program. Some heavy hitters, especially in the breaststroke, and a lot of relay, help. So our women, it was a little bit of a different approach. Like, we have some ladies that you kind of know they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and they're gonna compete pretty hard. So one of our goals with the women, knowing this is a pretty younger team for us, was the next level of women to elevate. Can we get a few new faces to make the A finals? Can we get a few? We had a bunch that have never been, so it was a lot of firsts. And so really it was, we figured, like Virginia's going to be pretty darn strong. People are going to have to be, it would take, a lot for that to change. But really it was like, can we get in and the C level move to the B? Can the B level become more of an A? Can we get some ladies to score in some, one more event better? So that was kind of the things that we kind of talked about as a women's program. Can we compete better on the boards? Because we put together, this was probably our better diving squad this year for the women. And for the men, it was more of for our invite, we didn't pick up as many qualifiers as I thought we could. So we still had to get some qualifier. We still had to post some good times to put ourselves in a position to make NCAAs with a lot of guys. And so we had to get some more guys prepared than probably last year and maybe even the year before. But we tried some different things on relays this meet. We tried a few different events for a couple of guys to kind of figure out what's best in March to do with a couple people. And so it was a little bit of a different approach for both teams going into it this year, and we always kind of talk about, you can't control what other teams are going to do. There's going to be some great moments that are going to be there for other teams. Like, I was kind of telling our guys, it was kind of fun to watch Notre Dame do, it kind of reminds me a little bit about when we kind of got going here in 2013, is when we kind of really started moving up. So it was kind of fun, but really just focusing on what we can control, focusing on managing ourselves, managing our emotions, managing our recovery and how we're handling ourselves so we're better prepared for March.
Yeah. Were there – I have a few specifics I want to talk to you about. First off, one of my favorite storylines from this meet on your team was Sam Hoover, who came in – and it was extremely versatile, and I think has swum maybe every stroke for you guys. He does IM, he does freestyle. He was your sole entry in the 100 breast, and he ended up winning the B final 52-2. Can you tell me a little bit about his season and how you guys saw him slotting into the team and what his role has been throughout this season and certainly heading into this championship season.
Yeah, Sam's been back on his game. He had a great freshman year. Struggled a little bit. Obviously, his sophomore year just needed to kind of reset, refine his focus and what excites him and what gives him that energy to move forward. And he, I think once we graduated Mason Hunter, because we've never really had a lot of breaststrokers, and a lot of the breaststrokers, sometimes that's it. That's all they do. And he's someone that has dabbled into it, and we knew he could do it. And when Mason Hunter graduated, we're like, okay, Sam kind of knew, okay, you need me. You need me in the breaststroke. You need me to be ready for these relays. And I think he kind of took that to heart in a great way and really stepped up for us. He's very versatile. To a point where, we didn't even put him in the 200 breasts. He didn't really train for it at all because his freestyle is good. And so, we almost didn't put him in the 200 IM. We almost dabbled in the 50 free because he's a big dude. He's a strong guy. So, we knew we needed him in the IM. And, but, I think his outlook this year was, he's always been a really good relay guy too. Like, he just levels up for relays. He gets more out of his start. But, early on, he kind of set the tone that, hey, 2 laps of breaststroke, that medley relay is completely different almost this year. And so, I think he kind of took that opportunity. Hey, next man up, next man available. And he kind of ran with it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just to A final in the 2 IM, A final in the 100 free, again, win the B final in the 100 breast, and then slot into those medley relays. It seems like a big deal. Mm-hmm. And obviously he's been a huge player for you all, but it's been fun to see his progression throughout the season and kind of following you guys. And it's like, okay, he is swimming those medley relays. So it seems like that has worked out well for the team.
Definitely. Yeah. And the 100 in the morning, he kind of misjudged a little bit, so there was room to improve a good bit at night. And, he kind of knew if he hits it at night, there's going to be a lot more room to move up and win that heat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seems like he did that. You mentioned the medley relay, and it's been fun seeing you guys play around with Aiden Hayes and Kacper Stokowski's roles. We've seen Aiden lead off a lot on that. Defending champion in the tuner fly, can also throw down a very good 50 back. Can you tell me a little bit about managing those guys moving through the meet, especially with Kacper coming off of World Championships in Doha?
Yeah, he wasn't feeling very well, and so because he also Kacper did the 200 free for us at one point. We're like, we need to see where this is because we feel like this is an 800 free relay that can move back to battling in the top couple of schools. So but he came back and he was a little bit just not healthy, and I didn't want to press too early with him coming back from Doha. So we left him off both relays because he was doing butterfly for us on most of the medley relays, mainly because we kind of wanted, when Niels Kristangi left, we kind of had an opening in the fly. I mean, obviously 19-1 is kind of hard to replace, but we needed something to be close. And he's just really powerful. We have a couple flyers that are really powerful and then a couple flyers that are more finesse. And Aiden's backstroke start is really good. And so we're like, let's kind of see where this is. And for Aiden, it's really if he hits the start or not. So yeah, I mean, just managing Kacper a little bit through the meet was we let him recover, we let him get a little bit healthy, and we kind of built him up. I mean, he was doing in the morning he would go about 3,000 warm up, and then he would go about 2,500 cool down of just aerobic work. Let the racing be the quality, and then each day we built him up higher and higher. and to kind of get back going again, and I was like, look, you can be pretty good regardless. As long as you're healthy, you'll be able to help us. And he was all about it. And so it kind of allowed us to finagle a little bit of difference in our relays. It allowed us a couple different guys to, we wanted to try some guys in the 800 free relay too. Like Arsenio Bustos has done a couple of 200 frees. We're like this could be a good event for you. Let's see where it is. And this was kind of the meet to do it, where I felt like our depth is still good enough that we can compete pretty well, I think. And so it just added a little bit of opportunities for us to move some people around.
Yeah. Which like you said, the depth is there, right? You guys have no shortage of that ACC scoring caliber athlete, it seems like, on the men's side. Slotting in freshman Daniel Diehl. Can you just talk about that addition to the team and what he's brought in his short time as a member of the team? Not only obviously, scoring points for you guys at ACCs, but just as a teammate in training.
Yeah, they call him Dirty. Dirty Dan.
Dirty Dan.
I don't think I've called him Dan for a couple of weeks. It's just Dirty. He comes in the morning for practice. He comes in the door and we're like, "What's up, Dirty?" Yeah, I mean, when during in recruiting, after he had, signed and all this, it was hard because he's training by himself and in a YMCA pool, 6 lanes. It's a nice pool, but it was getting hard on him and it was taking its toll on him. And his coach was not going to be coaching past December. And so he was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. And he kind of brought up, can I go ahead and come there early? I can graduate early. And we're like, yeah, I mean, it'd probably be a good idea to, if your coach isn't going to be there and you're swimming by yourself, that's going to be really difficult to do, especially going into an Olympic year. And so, the original plan was, he was not going to race and he was going to train and, get some extra long course pool time because he doesn't have that back home. And we quickly found out he needed excitement. He needed energy. He needed something new. He needed to invest and take his mind off, different things that were getting hard on him. And so, he kind of felt that too. And he was itching. He's like, I need this to get going. And we kind of talked with the team a little bit and, so it was a great addition. I mean, they knew he was a good swimmer. The kid is a great kid. He's so nice. We learned quickly how coachable he is, and getting feedback and making changes and trying feedback or trying things to do. And so he's very coachable and right out of the gates comes in, works hard. And, the guys love him. And I mean, he's pretty chill. He's pretty quiet and pretty laid back. But he does like to race. And so that's his strength. And so that, we said, this could be helpful for you to kind of get going and experience this and experience getting going. And because I felt like if we did the red shirt, it would have been a long time coming from his club, being by himself and continue to be by himself. It just, we just weren't sure if that was going to be the best decision long-term. And we decided to go ahead and get him cranking. And the guy he can swim a bunch of stuff. We tried him in a bunch of different stuff. We almost put him in the 100 breast, but we felt like he needed a few more looks in the 200 free and his 200 event. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does a lot more breaststroke for us as well moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, that is really cool to hear. Cause I feel like you hear those stories. They're not uncommon of kids training by themselves, or essentially, having their coach and they don't have a lot of other teammates to train with, especially someone at that caliber of athlete. I can't imagine trying to motivate yourself, when you're just training alone. And so that's just great to hear from the athlete and human standpoint of like, okay, now he has things to energize him and motivate him, like you said.
Yeah, because he had a great, his coach Brian. I mean, they were doing really well, and over time, when it's just those two, it was getting harder. It was getting harder, and when his coach was leaving to focus more on his other career, it was like, what do I do? And I was like, there's because I don't know. I mean, Daniel lives in Cumberland, Maryland. I mean, he's kind of in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's nothing around him. So it's like to go somewhere, you're like driving an hour and a half just to get to a 7-Eleven or whatever. But, but I think knowing how well he fit in with our guys on like a daily basis, it just made it a lot easier and a lot more fun for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Which again, that's very cool to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously a down moment in the meet was you have Owen Lloyd winning the mile. You have Ross Stant getting second, and then Owen Lloyd ends up getting DQ'd. I'm talking to him and Ross tomorrow, so I'm excited to get their perspective on this. But I mean, I've already seen Owen post about it, and I thought he had a very insightful and post, great way to rebound. But I'm curious about your perspective on it, especially because we saw you talk to him, seconds after this DQ was announced, and just your thoughts on how that played out and how Owen and the team were able to respond to it.
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate situation, especially the last night of the championships. We had people and great scoring opportunities to win events. We had a lot of great things to look forward to. The first two events, we had a lot of guys in finals. So it kind of took a little bit of the sail out of our guys. Owen is one of our leaders. He is one of our captains. He is part of the glue of our team. He is a team first guy. He comes in every day to work hard. Him and Ross and the group, James, there's a bunch of them. They go at it every single day. So the pride and the respect they have for each other is unbelievable. If you're off one day, the other guy's winning, and I can't tell you how many times they've gone back and forth. So I think the broken heart feeling that the men had for Owen was my biggest concern. I knew probably Owen would be able to. He's a strong guy, and I knew he's emotional, right? So I knew it would hit him hard. I went through the whole protest, and I protested 3 different ways. It's an interesting rule. It's an interesting how it's explained. I'm not going to really get into probably all of that, to be honest. But for me, I knew I was going to protest. I knew I was going to fill out all the paperwork. I knew but my first act that came, I needed to take care of him. He needed to hear positivity. He needed to hear that was his best mile he's ever done. Strategically, that was the best mile he's ever done. And I don't really, I don't coach him. Dino coaches them, and when Dino's saying that, obviously Dino has done a great job with that part of our program. I just needed to be there for him because I knew it was going to be a pretty big test of adversity for Owen to kind of get through, because he is a leader, and so really just embracing him and embracing the swim, embracing him, hey, you did get it done. And that was really just my first thing that I felt like I needed to do. Owen and I have a pretty cool relationship. We're pretty sarcastic with each other. We're pretty upfront with each other. My role is not so much hey, here's how we're going to train today. It's more of, hey, let's get ready. This part is going to help you in life. This part is going to help you be a leader on this team. These things here are going to help you long term. So that was really kind of how I wanted to handle it, because I knew it would rock him. Hopefully I was hoping it would be switched over and whatever, but at this point, it's a learning thing for our entire team. It's a learning event for our coaches. I will be honest, I did not tell the team, hey, if you win something, don't sit on the lane line and fall in. Like I didn't cover that. So shame on me for not reviewing all the nuts and bolts that are probably need to be reviewed at this point. But I also feel in a way could give him a little bit of a chip on his shoulder heading into the end of the year, because he's going to have that next time he swims it in March, and our team's going to have that. But the team loves him to death. Dino loves him to death. He's a vital part of our spirit, and I think that's what made it hard, was that. And you kind of saw the interview that Ross gave. I mean, he and Ross are pretty close. I mean, they're both from the state of North Carolina. They've been with each other for a long time, and so I'm pretty proud of Ross and how he handled that. And same with James, because James was over there, and kudos to Louisville for helping us. I asked the kid, Ilya, I was like, look, Ross doesn't want to stand on the podium on first. Are you okay if he, after you have your moment, if he stands on there with you? And he was really cool about it. And I told one of the coaches at Louisville that I had asked, and so the moment of respect to Owen was great by the conference, by the people in the event. But at this point, we're gonna get ready for NCAA championships in that race and have a different outcome.
I really appreciate that insight. Because it's obviously, it was a surprising moment. It was just a shocking moment. And so, a few days removed from it, it's really nice to get your perspective on all of that. I am curious, did that affect his qualification for NC2As? Is he still qualified? I mean, obviously all the conferences championships aren't done yet, but where is he in that right now?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he did do the A cut, but now since it's not the A cut, but he should be good. I think he's ranked pretty high in the 4IM. I mean, his mile from the invite is only a few seconds slower, so I don't know if he'll be top 8. I think that time probably would have been a good chance of being top 8. Now he probably won't be top 8, but he still has a B cut, and he should be good to go to swim that and be good for NCAAs.
Gotcha. Okay. Just wanted to confirm that. So then, I know I've talked a lot about the men. Congrats. Is this legacy of ACC titles for your men something you think about, or something that you put thought into or stock into when you're approaching an ACC championships?
I mean, I really don't usually till like maybe after, and when people bring it up,
like right now.
Yeah, I am proud of the men and the culture they've sustained. I think I remember we won the first time in 15, and I think I remember the next year I was like, things are different now. You have a big target on your back now. No one likes you, and people want to beat you. And so I think to be able to do it 9 times in 10 years is pretty cool. I don't think it compares to what Easterling did. I think he won like 12 in a row or something. He has a bunch, but like I look at it as our alumni group is very prideful and they're great. I view it as a tip of the hat to them and what they've kind of created that we want to sustain as best we can. We want to do our part to fulfill the journey that they have. And we also want to do our part to fulfill an opening, an opportunity for the guys that are going to come through here 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now. So, so really each year I tell it it's a new team. It's new guys. Some guys have been there, some guys haven't. So each year has its own moment in time to create whatever they want to end up creating. So I don't really go into each year focused on that as much.
Yeah. Which I think at this point, having asked so many coaches that, I feel like I'm aware of that, but I feel like a lot of people maybe aren't, or, can get caught up on it. So for me, it never gets old hearing that, because I think it's, if you're just looking at results, it's very easy to get caught up in like, oh my God, 9 of the last 10, they've won this many in a row. But then when you get down to it, you're not necessarily, that's not the prime focus for you.
No, each year's a new year.
Yeah. But I am going to ask another question about multiple titles in a row. Katharine Berkoff, 5 ACC 100 back titles in a row, which, for many would be impossible. But just to see her evolve as a sprinter, but also just as a whole athlete, and to see her get better every year she's been at NC State. And, we've seen it short course, we've seen it long course. Can you speak to the athlete, and I'm sure the teammate that you've seen her become, especially this year, specifically as a 5th year?
Yeah, I mean, seeing her grow over the 5 years has been awesome. I mean, she's so mature now. She doesn't get caught up if she doesn't have a bad day. Her freshman year, if she had a bad day or took a poor test, it would bring her down for 2 days. She's had great teammates, and she's brought up great helped her teammates. I think that her relationship with her team is what has really helped her continue to move forward as a person, which, has helped her in the classroom. It's helped her in the pool. I think she's been able to create a bigger picture mindset, more than she ever has. And so, this being a unique year with trials, and it's her last year, she was kind of like, I want to be as best I can for trials, but I also want to embrace my college experience because it's over after this. And so she's really done a good job with that. And I think that's kind of helped evolve the sprint side of things when we, her first year, I think she did the 500 free the first day of conference. And we, if people look back, she did not have, we were training really hard. That's the year, I think, after ACCs is when COVID rocked. I think that was the year. But so she never really got the rest period that year. But since then she's evolved into the more of the speed side of things, and which she likes. It's more fun for her. She likes training that way. She likes doing that kind of stuff. But seeing her just mature into the woman that she is now, it's pretty cool. The conversations we have are, I think, more, the honesty, is there. It's, you're not having to, when she was young and, she was still kind of getting going, obviously from Montana, she was far from home. Now it's really fun to interact with her, and it's easy. It's just really awesome to see how far she's come and how much of a team player she is. And she even said, look, I don't like the 200 back, but if you have me do it, I'll do it. I'd rather do the 100 free, but if you need me in the 200 back for the team, I'll do it. And because she just does not like that race.
Didn't she swim it at a dual meet or something and go one really fast?
Yeah, she was one. It was her last dual meet, and I said, I was like, look, if you ever want to do one of these in college ever again, you only have one more opportunity to do it, and that's this weekend. And so I put out the lineup for the meet, and she only saw herself in the 2 back, and she was like, oh, she was like, all right, I'll do it. And she went out. She forgot how to do it. She went out way too hard. So I think she flipped. Her first 50 was way too fast. She flipped at 53.1 or something, and then she was on the pain train coming home. But she did say, at conference, I'll do it. But I was like, nah, I want you to have fun doing. It's your last ACCs. Let's have fun. Do what you want to do. But it's been great. It's a blessing to coach her every single day. She is very sarcastic. She's very witty. She usually says nothing serious during a workout. So she keeps me on my toes.
That's really awesome to hear. So just, you as a coach, you're coming off of ACCs, you've got 2 or 3 weeks until the NC2A train gets rolling. What is your focus now for the next couple weeks, for just you personally, and then also for your staff and for your team?
Yeah, I think for me, I got home Saturday night. By the time I turned the van in, drove back. I had to get up the next morning I wanted to, because my older two were swimming in their age group senior state meet. So I was back at the pool. Luckily, the pool they're swimming at was right down, it's like a mile, exit off the interstate. So just getting to watch them compete was awesome. Carpool duty at night is losing my thing. So wrestling is now over. So now it's just soccer for my youngest, and basketball, he's in a break. So really just being a dad. I kind of like this time because right now we have NCAA people in the water, right? We're managing a little bit of the long course with it. Katharine yesterday, I was like, you're not going to like the kick set, but I want you to think June. This is a kick set for June, not March. So kind of managing that a little bit. I want my coaches and the staff to be able to reflect back on a job well done, but also now is the time to write down the thoughts and analyze where we need to be better, with people that are not moving on, or people that are moving on, but we wanted to be better. We tried some new things this year, and some things I thought were great, some things not. But also having them mentally reset as well, picking your moments, of where you can kind of reset, where there's some days where we can kind of combine some kids and a coach can get out and go have a dinner and get away from it. So really just kind of reset, because obviously at NCAAs, we're back to being split. So it's 2 different weeks, and then there's no break, right? I mean, so really just trying to manage them from not stepping on the gas 100 miles an hour every single day. Let's pick and choose. Like today, I'm working from home, and I'm surprised my dog hasn't come in here barking. But really, that's it. And for the team, starting to analyze how can we perform better and move into scoring potential opportunities in every aspect of the meets. And, on the men's side, for example, we have a lot of decisions to make regarding events, where there are potential openings that we see from the NCAA, which probably aren't much, because everything got really, really fast this year, starting with dual meets, right? So that's really kind of what we're doing.
Yeah. You mentioned, you tried some things this year, and some things went really well, and some things you weren't so happy with. Do you have any examples of either side of those off the top of your head?
Well, I would say, one thing that I liked better this year was a little bit of how we trained. And this was Dino's idea. You have a distance swimmer, and they're kind of going through the grind of it, right? And they don't get to start wrestling till later. But it was pretty cool seeing him suit up every Thursday. Thursday is the day where they're hitting 500 free work, but changing the variable, right? And he did some things that were different that I thought really helped the program, not just in that race, but them seeing, obviously some faster times in heavy training, taking advantage of it. I felt like, we changed a little bit of our kick work up. Some of our speed kick that we started a point in the season, we delayed it, and that was more a little bit just trying to keep long course perspective in mind. I don't think we just weren't as sharp with our legs. So I think maybe long term that'll be a good decision, but for a lot of people in that position, that maybe that was their meet. I felt like that kind of hindered us a little bit. So really just managing, okay, we gotta separate that a little bit better. But I tell the coaches all the time, if we're just going to hit repeat, you're not going to advance. You're not going to, the people are going to adapt pretty quickly to what they're doing each time. So we just got to make sure we're picking the changes the right way and put them in the right spot. So those are just kind of two things that stick out in my head.
Yeah. It's I appreciate that way of thinking, because as we saw, especially this year, I feel like college swimming is evolving, and you got to be a part of that. You guys hosted a dual meet where they had a lot of speed and a lot of fun. Can you tell me about how the meet went overall, especially just being a little removed from it? What your takeaways from that dual meet with Texas was?
Yeah, I mean they started it. I mean last year when we went to Texas and they had the big blow up, Devo. They had the music, they had the lights. I kind of told Carol, I was like, okay, we can't just go back to a normal dual meet. I was like, our lights can do pretty cool stuff. I'm like, let's change it up. And so, we threw out all the ideas. Obviously, if you do a whole dual meet of events, it's just too long for the spectators. So we're like, I asked them, I was like, are you guys good with some of these ideas of just turn up the volume a little bit louder, see what happens? And John Mason came in, who is all the World Cups, World Championships, European Championships. I mean, he's the guy on TV that's doing the interviews, and he was all up in the stands and the lights on and off and the sparks, obviously, before the relays. And then we cleared the deck. We didn't have anybody on deck. So the fans had just the deck. It was like, trials, right, where there's no one on deck. Mm-hmm. So we were in the stands. Texas was in the stands, and the kids were throwing out. So even Texas was doing it too. They were throwing out T-shirts after the races because we had the swimmers after the races walked the long way around. So they got to go. So all the kids are sitting on the railing getting high fives from all the athletes. And so it really is nice when you have a team like Texas that embraces that too. And they wanted to partake in it. And our team was all about it. So I think the next year is when we go back to Texas, like, now what do we do? We got to have the swimmers come in from zip lines or something. It was great for our team to have that much fun. But the best part was I had so many parents, age group coaches. We had a professor who comes to all of our meets for engineering. He sent me this email like, my kids had so much fun, and that was worth it. And so, and then when you do that environment, people are going to go fast. I mean, I'm in the 2 free. I mean, I think we had Luke Hobson was like 131, and there was like 3 guys at 132. It was like, okay, it just shows you the power of emotion in a meet. And I think the NCAA, the women's meet was a little bit, they had the DJ a little bit, but they have got to learn from this. Like, just by doing those things, people just perform better than what they thought they could just because they're in the moment. We could definitely do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was, it's so cool to see these sprout up. I remember being at the Texas NC State meet last year. I think someone went one or two people went 131s or 132s in the 2 free, but it's like the energy is palpable. And again, it gets people out of their head. It gets them in a fun way, in a fun spirit. And then they can go out and perform, and
right,
without the pressure, without being in their own head.
Yeah, it was fun. We want to do it again. I mean, the next meet was our senior meet. We didn't have all the hoopla, but one of our coaches, Kevin Happ, he ordered this big black tunnel that we introduced our seniors. Instead of doing we do a senior breakfast the next morning where it's intimate in an auditorium where we honor our seniors. But during the meet, I don't like, meet your parents, have the video. Like, I just let's get ready for the meet, right? But let's still highlight the seniors somehow. Our seniors are always in different color caps, but this year we had them come out with the lights off, sparks through that tunnel, and it was dark. And we introduced them like a starting NFL lineup, and they had fun with that. So we're gonna keep that. That was fun.
Yeah,
just keep doing fun with it.
Well, Braden, I appreciate talking to you and your insight. I appreciate the way you think because I think it's moving swimming forward. And again, as a fan, I for one am all about that. So thank you for taking the time to talk today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Coleman. I appreciate it. Good seeing you.
You've been listening to the Swim Swam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take Swim Swam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.